Hi, I'm Carter Holton, and this is the second edition of Conversations with Mr. Calvert. Mr. Calvert, how are you doing today?
Doing great, Carter. How are you?
I'm good.
Have a good holiday with your family?
I did, yes.
It's awesome. Ate way too much.
Way too much, and lots of Monopoly games.
Cool. Good deal.
So I wanted to talk to you today about growth and community involvement in our district. So to start off, could you talk about the school district's growth in recent years and the projections for future growth?
I think that's a word everybody hears every day around here, and I've been hearing that for a long time. Growth, whether it's our community, our businesses, our schools, obviously, our area is growing. And a lot of that has to do with the Grand Parkway coming through here and just naturally being a great area. But our district, it's been booming for a while now. I remember seeing charts that show us back at 7,000 kids, even smaller than that, way before that. Now we're up to over 18,000. And so it's just been tremendous to sit back and watch it grow, but at the same time, plan for that growth while taking care of the things we're doing in the present. So it's always a fun balancing act. I always tell people it's the scariest part of my job, but the most fun part of my job, planning for all that kind of stuff.
So how does a fast rate of student enrollment impact the school district?
Well, it's very complicated, but it's very simple at the same time. When you got a lot of kids showing up, you have to have a place to put them. And, that's what we're running into with a lot of our buildings is, we're simply out of room. You got to have classrooms, you got to have cafeterias, hallways, gyms, all those special programs, like y'all are used to it in Caney High School, like your band halls have to accommodate the growth, all those kind of things. And so as students come faster, it's challenging for us as a district to plan further enough ahead so that we're ready for the growth. It's not like we can have 800 kids show up and then decide to fix it the next day. We have to plan 3 to 5 years in advance to make sure we're ready when the growth comes.
So what area geographically has seen the most growth so far?
I would say, the north side of our district, the Tavola development's coming in. We're starting to see a lot of growth on the west side with the Highlands coming in, a lot of homes coming in out there. The south side, the Kingwood area, Oakhurst area, all that's starting to get more built out. But definitely the north part of our district and the west part of our district, we're seeing a lot of growth coming out there, working with those developers, hopefully to stay ahead of it.
Okay. So, speaking of preparing for the future growth, I know the district has begun a bond planning process. Before we get into that, could you just explain, what a bond is?
Sure. A bond, it's a small yet scary word in the school district world, as well as our taxpayers and everybody else. When we build buildings, we re-roof things, we do these big projects, really the only way we have to pay for it is a bond. Not to get too technical on the school finance side, but school operates out of two different pots of money. Like one side of the tax bill or the tax rate, it pays for your teacher salaries, diesel in the buses, instruments in the band halls, all that kind of stuff. It just keeps the day-to-day things going. But then there's this other side, the INS side, and it's kind of like a lot of people describe your mortgage payment out of. And that's how we pay our bonds back. And so what a bond referendum is our citizens, our voters telling us, okay, we agree the district needs X amount of dollars to fund this list of projects, and we understand it's going to do this to our tax base. And so we're asking our voters to sign off on a mortgage for a certain period of time, so that way we can build these facilities and get our kids what they need.
Okay. So what kind of facility projects is the district considering?
Oh, it's quite an extensive list. As we talked about, growth is here and it's coming. So, just a few right off the top of my head, we intentionally built West Fork in 2 phases. So we're going to start on that second phase. It's under consideration. I mentioned Highlands earlier. We're going to put an elementary out there for them. Actually, before our 2018 bond, we identified some campuses that needed to be replaced. And so we did that with Kiefer and Porter. So in the next bond, New Caney Elementary will be replaced. We're looking at some work at New Caney High School, a place all too familiar to you, looking at a new CTE center there, moving baseball and softball from its current location to Eagle Drive north over there. So that way our kids don't have to travel over there for baseball, softball, and track. Putting a new field and field house behind New Caney High School, Porter High School, new band hall, some CTE work, some athletic work over there. So those are just a few. our bond planning committee is looking at some other projects to consider. And so, there's a lot of things on the list that honestly have to do with growth and how we can increase the capacity of our schools so that way we're ready for kids when they show up.
Well, I know firsthand, the impact of, that expansion, because when our band hall was replaced at the high school, it was a huge, huge help. So yeah, we're very fortunate that we're a district that's able to expand like that. So if there is a bond referendum, when would it take place?
Well, districts can call for bonds in the fall or the spring. Ours obviously would be in the spring. So the timeline for it is, of course, our board of trustees, they have to vote on it. They have to officially call a bond. And so that would be sometimes in February, with election day being sometimes in May. So that would be in the spring of 23. And then typically, you're going to start seeing those projects start happening as soon as July or August. Just depends on what the project is, how fast we can actually get the money in the bank from the sale of those bonds and start turning dirt.
So if there is a bond referendum, how can people participate? And is there a way for students to get involved in that?
The best thing people can do is get out and vote when the time comes. We've seen that a lot in our past elections and our past bond elections. For instance, in 2018, we had less than 1,300 people vote on a $200 million bond project. And so I would just say that, if you're not registered to vote, go register to vote. And then when the time comes, take advantage of early voting and, of course, day of. And really for our students, 18 years old, get registered to vote. I know our campuses do a great job of giving students opportunities to get registered to vote. And so that's the main thing, is just, if you're not registered to vote. And then when the time comes, take part of the process and get out there and vote.
All right. Well, thank you. So, these bond projects, they help out the community. And I know that New Caney has some other community involvement events being planned. So I know we are planning a Christmas parade this year. Could you talk about, how this came about, who will participate, just things like that?
Of course, yeah. Holiday season, it's an opportunity for us to spread some holiday cheer. And I won't name the parade that I was sitting at last year, but I was sitting at that parade watching my daughter and her drill team do their thing. And I was like, you know what, I think we could do this and we could do it a lot better. and so, we just started talking about it internally. It was something that I wanted to do. Our community really didn't have anything like that. And so I'm a kid myself, and so I wanted an opportunity to really spread the holiday cheer and Christmas cheer in our district. And so I see this as a way for our campuses and our departments to give back. And so that's where the participants are this year, this first time. So all of our campuses will have a float. All three of our high school bands will be marching. Our drill teams will be marching. Our departments will have floats. The theme of it is your favorite Christmas movie. And so there'll be prizes for those that represent that. There's prizes for the schools that show up the most. So if our kids are showing up to watch the parade, make sure they wear their school shirt, because I'll have some secret Santas in the crowd, seeing the school participation. And everybody will get a little something, our winners and our school spirit winners. So it's going to be a great night. The momentum has definitely been building to it. And hopefully it's just an opportunity for our community to sit back and bring in the holiday season and let New Caney ISD bless them and show off some work they've done. Our people are very competitive. They're very proud of their work. And, it's going to be a fun night for everybody. So we're really looking forward to it. It's the first one. And the way things are looking, hopefully there's going to be a second one next year too.
All right. So are there any other community involvement events that are going to be happening in the future that people I want to know about?
Well, we always, have our doors open. And so I would encourage people, whether it's something that we advertise out there or they're just driving by school and want to get involved. Our doors are always open. Our website has a list of volunteer opportunities on it that if you want to come volunteer at New Caney High School, here's some ways that you can do that. Here's a contact person to do that. So whether it's a big advertised event like the Christmas parade, or you just want to go spend some time with kids and help kids out and just, serve them in a way that fits your needs, whether that's, helping out in a lunchroom at an elementary cafeteria, shelving library books, doing some tutoring. There's lots of opportunities out there for our community to get involved and get in our schools and see what's going on.
Thank you for talking with me.
Thank you, Card.
And thank you all for watching. This has been another edition of Conversations with Mr. Calvert, and stay tuned for the next one.